Once upon a time, a figure who had etched his name among the richest men in the world, dazzled with his private jets piercing the sky and his glamorous yachts. However, Adnan Khashoggi's rise was not only tied to the power of wealth, but also deeply rooted in a dark past. His days spent in luxury and splendor were shaped by illegal arms trading and international intrigues that he left in his wake. Despite being one of the influential businessmen in Saudi Arabia, the secrets and accusations hidden beneath this glamour caused him to be remembered not just as a wealthy man, but also as a mysterious figure. Khashoggi's steps in the business world made him a part of the complex relationships between the West and the Middle East. His journey, which began at a young age, not only led him through the corridors of trade, but also into the labyrinths of international diplomacy. His signature was not only on many illegal arms deals, but also on a series of complex financial operations. While Khashoggi's impressive connections placed him at the center of numerous scandals, the profiles of those around him were also highly controversial. Each revealed detail shed light on the depths of the dark empire behind him, making it harder for those who sought to understand Khashoggi's true identity. This was not just the story of a wealthy man, but also a dangerous game of power and ambition. Adnan Khashoggi emerged on the world stage as one of Saudi Arabia's richest and most influential businessmen. Possessing one of the most immense and dazzling fortunes of his time, Khashoggi was known for the deals he made in the international business world. His lavish lifestyle, featuring glamorous yachts, jets, and mansions, not only symbolized his personal wealth, but also the powerful global connections he had established. However, behind this bright image, much of Khashoggi's wealth came from dark and controversial dealings. One of Khashoggi's greatest breakthroughs in business was the trade bridge he built between the West and the Middle East. His success, particularly in arms trading, made him an international figure. But these successes were not solely based on legal commercial activities. Khashoggi became known for many illegal arms deals as well. The people and business partners around him often operated in the darkest corners of international diplomacy and business. This led to Khashoggi being remembered not just as a wealthy businessman, but also as a mysterious figure. Born into a wealthy family in Saudi Arabia, Khashoggi's early life laid the foundation for the vast business empire he would later build. His father held a prestigious position as the personal doctor to the King of Saudi Arabia. These powerful family connections gave Khashoggi broad freedom of movement from a young age. Although he began studying at Stanford University, he decided to embark on his business career before finishing his education, and soon found himself immersed in commerce. His business acumen, curiosity for understanding global markets, and inclination to take risks quickly made him a noticeable figure. Moving to the United States at a young age and developing connections there, Khashoggi began capitalizing on business opportunities, especially in the Western world. With rising oil revenues in Saudi Arabia during the 1960s, Khashoggi became a gateway for Western companies entering the Saudi market. His intermediary role became a significant factor not only in commercial opportunities, but also in shaping international relations. Khashoggi's early business successes paved the way for even larger and more complex deals in the future. The field in which Khashoggi made his real fortune was the illegal arms trade he conducted worldwide. His success in this area not only made him a globally recognized businessman, but also pulled him deeper into the criminal world. The arms trade brought him enormous financial power and influence, especially during the 1970s and 1980s. With wars and crises in the Middle East, there was an explosion of demand in the arms market. Khashoggi capitalized on this opportunity, becoming a key intermediary in arms deals between Saudi Arabia and the West. Khashoggi's influence in arms trading made him not just a player in commerce, but also an important part of diplomatic relations. Thanks to the close relationships he established with defense industry giants in the US and Western Europe, he played a pivotal role in arms deals. However, these successes mostly took place outside legal boundaries. Throughout this process, Khashoggi faced accusations of illegal arms deals, bribery, and money laundering. Yet his international connections and financial power largely allowed him to escape the consequences of these accusations. Adnan Khashoggi's successes were not only due to his business acumen, but also thanks to the powerful alliances he built with influential people. The Saudi royal family held an important place in Khashoggi's career. His strong relationship with the royal family facilitated his business activities in Saudi Arabia and became a source of trust in the international arena. However, his connections were not limited to Saudi Arabia. He also developed close relationships with many politicians and businessmen in the West. Particularly during the Iran-Contra affair, Khashoggi's relationships with the US government came to light. Acting as an intermediary in the US's secret arms sales to Iran, Khashoggi also collaborated with intelligence agencies like the CIA during this process. These relationships help explain how he became so effective in international arms trading. However, these alliances and connections were also indicative of his deep roots in the criminal world. Khashoggi's name was frequently associated with illegal arms trade and money laundering charges. One of the most significant and high-profile accusations was the Iran-Contra affair. This scandal broke out in the 1980s when the US secretly sold arms to Iran and funneled the profits to the Contra rebels in Nicaragua. Khashoggi was one of the key intermediaries in these operations. His close ties with the US government and his experience in international arms trade gave him a central role in this criminal network. After this scandal, Khashoggi's name became linked with other crimes, such as money laundering and fraud. He managed to hide his illegal earnings by setting up a complex network within the international financial system. Using offshore accounts and shell companies, Khashoggi laundered his money, evading the scrutiny of regulatory authorities in many countries. However, as time passed, global investigations began to probe his illegal trading activities and crimes. The people surrounding Adnan Khashoggi were also involved in illegal activities like him. His closest business partners and advisors were often individuals linked to international criminal networks. These people were responsible for crimes like arms trading, money laundering, and bribery. Particularly during the Iran-Contra affair, the American and Iranian businessmen who worked with Khashoggi faced various accusations. They, like Khashoggi, were known to use complex methods to hide their illegal activities. The individuals around Khashoggi were also important figures in the international business world. These people were often senior executives of large defense industry companies or businessmen with strong political connections in the West. Khashoggi's closest associates played critical roles in his illegal activities, and they too became targets of international investigations. However, like Khashoggi, they often managed to avoid serious penalties thanks to their powerful connections and financial resources. Adnan Khashoggi used extremely complex and skillfully planned methods to conceal his criminal activities. These methods were key elements that showed not only his success in international trade, but also in the criminal world. Khashoggi was adept at hiding money laundering transactions through shell companies and offshore accounts. This allowed him to hide his illegal earnings in various financial networks worldwide, making it difficult to track them. Furthermore, the wide trade network Khashoggi built helped conceal illegal arms deals and other criminal activities. This network, which spanned multiple countries and financial institutions, gave him great freedom of movement on the international stage. These methods not only helped him avoid legal authorities, but also enabled him to sustain his operations globally. His ability to conceal his crimes was one of the biggest factors that allowed Khashoggi to remain effective in the international business world for so long. Throughout his life, Adnan Khashoggi faced many accusations, but managed to evade capture for a long time. His arrest in 1989 in Switzerland on charges of fraud was one of the most notable moments of his capture process. However, this arrest soon ended with diplomatic pressures, and Khashoggi was released. His capture drew international attention, but the legal processes generally yielded no significant results. During his capture, Khashoggi used both his financial power and diplomatic relationships to escape punishment. Following his arrest, Khashoggi's business empire began to weaken. No longer possessing his former power and influence, Khashoggi gradually started leading a quieter life. He passed away in 2017 in Monaco after a prolonged illness. Although his death did not attract much global attention, his dark business past and illegal activities continue to be discussed. Khashoggi's death marked the end of his influence in the international criminal world, but his name will continue to be remembered for a long time. Numerous international investigations were conducted during Khashoggi's capture process. Especially after the Iran-Contra affair, many governments and intelligence agencies began to scrutinize Khashoggi's activities. These investigations in countries like the US, Switzerland, and Saudi Arabia aimed to uncover his illegal trade network and connections. However, Khashoggi managed to evade legal regulations throughout this process by using his strong connections and financial resources. During these investigations, Khashoggi's offshore accounts, shell companies, and complex money transfers were examined. By exploiting the weaknesses in the international financial system, Khashoggi was able to launder his money and conceal his illegal earnings. However, these investigations dealt serious damage to his business empire and reputation. While Khashoggi was able to avoid capture, his financial situation deteriorated, and his influence in the business world diminished. Adnan Khashoggi's capture significantly weakened his power and influence in the business world. Especially after his arrest in 1989, Khashoggi's business empire quickly began to decline. Once regarded as one of the richest people in the world, Khashoggi had now lost much of his former wealth and influence. In the years following his capture, Khashoggi faced various legal cases and accusations, but he generally managed to avoid serious punishment. After his capture, Khashoggi's business activities came to a near standstill. His luxurious lifestyle ended, and he lost much of his wealth. However, Khashoggi's name and legacy have secured a permanent place in the international business world and criminal history. His illegal activities and connections are still being discussed globally. Even after his death, Khashoggi's name continues to be associated with illegal arms trade and international crimes.